Welcome to Front Row. Top news in the Virgin Islands is told only by JTV. Making the front row today, government's challenge to keep cobweb away from National Sustainable Development Plan. 18-year-old who lost a leg following a motorcycle accident is now an advocate. Shooting death victim finally identified, and the BVI Football Association pledges more monies for women football. The details when we return.
We know that where you choose to bank matters, and it is your vote on what your funds do in strengthening our community. As your official Bank of Paradise, we invest and support the lifeblood of our economy by helping in the realization of personal goals for homeownership, education, and entrepreneurial visions, which support small businesses. We make it our place to connect with persons and worthy causes, and we have been doing so for more than 30 years. Where your money goes and what your dollars empower are your choice. And we thank you for choosing us, a bank that gives where it matters the most, for you, for our community, and a happier tomorrow. The National Bank of the Virgin Islands.
Everyone looks to the future, but no one truly knows what the future holds.
The number of people under the age of 20 with type 2 diabetes could increase by 49% by 2050. Let it be known that we all have a 30% chance of developing hypertension.
Globally, more than 300 million people of all ages suffer from depression.
More than 60,000 young adults aged 20 to 39 are diagnosed with cancer each year. Obesity leads to problems such as stroke, heart disease, and kidney failure.
No matter your race, age, or color, we are all at risk.
These diseases can be managed or prevented if caught early.
But with the right medicine and the right doctors to keep us on a path to live a robust and healthy life,
we will live well.
There are many ways to enjoy life, like so many ways to count on Popular.
Plug into Digicel Plus and get even more entertainment with Disney Plus included. The best of Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, and National Geographic all in one place. Whenever you want, plug into Plus to enjoy Disney Plus and much more with a home fiber bundle. Sign up today. Digicel Plus.
Welcome back for the news in details. A National Sustainable Development Plan document for the Virgin Islands is complete, and one of the biggest desires is for it not to join many other documents dormant on shelves.
Everyone will have to do their part, walking in the spirit of partnership if we are to achieve the level of sustainability we are aiming for. I want to assure the public that this plan will be implemented. It will not sit on a shelf somewhere collecting dust. I'm very pleased that at a political level, despite the initiation of the plan by a Virgin Islands party government, all political parties in the House of Assembly supported its development from the outset and voted for its final approval once completed. I welcome the commitment of the Virgin Islands Party, the National Democratic Party, the Progressive Virgin Islands Movement, and Progressives United to supporting government's implementation of the plan.
The plan was launched on Monday, February 27, 2023. At the launch, leader of the opposition, Honorable Julian Fraser, RA, alluded to factors that contribute to the plan being put into action. One is the buy-in from senior public servants.
You must get the buy-in from senior public servants, because those senior public servants are the ones who will be around with successive administrations. As you know, during every election, political parties campaign on their manifestos. They don't campaign on an NSDP. So naturally, when they get elected, the first thing they're going to call upon is their manifesto. Your senior public service officer is going to have to bring them back to the NSDP. Realistically, between now and 2036, you can expect to see no fewer than 4 new administrations, none of whom may be familiar with this plan. So the onus will be on permanent secretaries and the permanent establishment, to be exact, to make sure that those administrations are advised of the plan and try to get them to follow it. Our current premier is young enough, he could be around for 2036. But you got to first win elections.
Lead consultant to the United Nations Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean, Dr. June Sumer, sat as the head of the development of the plan and made these observations.
When we went through the exercises, we ensured that all of the participants were able to tell us some of the solutions and challenges that they faced and what they wanted to see in the plan. And we also ensured that we use foundational documents. You heard that we use the NIDS. We use the Blue Economy Plan. We used, because you were not starting from the beginning. You already had a foundation for a number of things. All this plan does is to bring these things together. You already had a very good beginning. And we had a very comprehensive, we have a very comprehensive situation analysis. And we looked at some of the limitations that we had, which is COVID-19, which I contracted during that time. And also, one of the biggest challenges that we faced was the limited knowledge on the Sustainable Development Goals themselves. So we had to undertake teaching in the schools before we could even start this plan, as well as with the general public, for them to understand the goals.
Director of ECLAC, a sub-regional office for the Caribbean, Diane Quarles, says the launch of the National Sustainable Development Plan is a success on 2 fronts, one of which was the multiply effect on other Caribbean countries.
Premier Wheatley, the achievement of the BVI made in drafting this plan is not lost on the sub-region, especially our other associate member countries. In addition to the BVI, ECLAC has provided technical assistance to Grenada in drafting their new long-term plan, to Dominica in aligning their sector plans along with their National Sustainable Development Plan, the National Resilience Development Strategy, and we provided support to Montserrat in their initial stages of the Montserrat Sustainable Development Plan. In reaching out to ECLAC for support, Montserrat made specific reference to the work that's being done by Dr. Sumer here in developing this plan. This is what we call the multiplier effect in the development circle, and you should be proud to be the trailblazers of sustainable development process.
National Coordinator for the United Nations Development Program's Project Office, Pat Leanne Johnson, was also a key resource.
The most recent UNDP mission in November of last year and this year, my colleagues would have met with many of the permanent secretaries as well as department heads. We were able to get a broader understanding of the key challenges, priorities, and this has allowed us to identify our key areas of support. During 2023 and beyond, as the NSDP is implemented, the UNDP looks forward to building on progress already made through the development of a new phase of programming that will support national priorities around the blue economy financing, public sector reform, social service delivery, and digital transformation. These were some of the priority areas that were identified during our consultations. Additionally, based on a direct request from the government, the UNDP is also positioned to assist with developing the implementation architecture for the NSDP by expanding and enhancing existing governance frameworks and structures that will promote transparency and accountability throughout the implementation process.
The National Sustainable Development Plan was created with the goal to strengthen the resilience of the society to withstand future hurricanes, pandemics, and any other crisis that may come, and to secure the future prosperity of the Virgin Islands through sustainability. Brightshawn Walters lost his right leg at the age of 16 years following a motorcycle accident on April 18, 2021. Life as he once knew it has not been the same. Today, while he is in all smiles, there are several surgical procedures he has to undergo, and he has admitted to have learned a lesson the hard way. What is the biggest thing you would have learned from this entire experience?
Don't go back and bike.
Why not?
They finish make.
According to his mother, Felicia September, this incident has left her family with expenses amounting to over $1 million. She is being helped, but had this to say.
Personally, as a mother of this incident, it is rough, but as we just say, today for me, tomorrow for you. We don't know what's going to happen to none of our kids, no family member, no friends, nothing. So don't turn your back on somebody, even though you don't know them, or you talked to them before, they didn't listen. He didn't listen because we talked to him about the bike, but it happened. I wouldn't turn my back on my son. I will be there for him, for anybody that it happened to. But for them to listen, they need to listen and look at what's going on around them. It is not a joke. It is very serious. Today you have $2,000. Tomorrow you got to find $2 million because of not listening. We got to work together as one. Helmet sometimes don't even save your life. It's the way they're riding is what causes some of the accidents to be so painful. I beg everybody, please, take the time with the bikes. We have to go back to Miami right now to take the tubes out of his sides. You have feeding tubes and a bile tube. And we have to go forward for a prosthetic leg. Still have to do another surgery, but we're doing it step by step as we go. I have a big bill in Miami right now for more than $500,000 for him.
It is with this heart that the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force, through its community policing arm and the Safe Haven Transitional Center, have collaborated to help this young man who is now 18 years old.
We are here at the Safe Haven Transitional Center with the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force representatives and a recipient of our With Love, Ride Safely and Wear a Helmet. So the Safe Haven Transitional Center, in collaboration with the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force, the BVI Community Policing Unit, decided to do an initiative because we realized that a lot of the young men in our community were, a concerning amount of young men in our community were riding their scooters and getting into accidents, and some of them died. And we realized that this was taking a toll on the community. When you look at persons who were probably involved in these accidents, some of them could develop things like prolonged grief, post-traumatic stress disorder. And in addition to that, we know that our youth are a vulnerable community, so we wanted a vulnerable population. So we wanted to just do something that we thought would reach the hearts of the BVI community So we decided to do this in the month of February. We know it's Love Month. We just celebrated Valentine's. And so this is where all of this came about, really.
One of the new principle or one of our new orders of police force, we are putting people first. And while it is that we are enforcing the law, we have to show some bit of compassion to persons in need and persons who may have suffered. Of course, Mr. Walter is a prime example as a young person who we can impact in a positive way to show him or to show other young persons in the community that we as a police force, we're not only here to enforce the law, but we're here because we are concerned.
Just to add a little bit, when Officer John came up with the initiative about raising the fund, I thought myself and Officer Baptiste thought it was exciting. We would go across the side of the road and we would stop vehicles. And most of the time when we stop vehicles, they're like, what the police want now? So we have to change their mind and tell them it's not a bad, it's not for no ticket, it's just something that we're trying to raise some fund. And when they hear about this what we're raising the fund for, they was very passionate. And we want to say, thanks to the general public, especially in East End, who support us and never give us a hassle in raising the funds. And also with the bike riders, sometime in maybe next month I'm going to have a bike drive with the safety of riding bikes, how to ride bikes and things. So I'll probably invite Mr. Walter so he could speak to the riders and explain to them, how we feel about when he got an accident and stuff like that. So that's basically it.
I'm Pam Trevilian, I'm the Assistant Commissioner of Police here, and obviously I'm new to the island. Some of the riding standards are really quite low, and the impact on individuals, their families, the community is immeasurable. And I'd like to just say thanks to Jackie, Tom, her leadership, and John, PC John, for the work they've done in collaboration, because we can only solve these things through partnership and through changing culture and collaboration with the community. We can enforce, but it's not about enforcement, it's about learning, education, and making people change their own behaviours. We don't want young people to be suffering and families to be suffering in the future. So hopefully initiatives like this will help to put the message out there that we're not just about enforcement. As we say, we care, it's about empathy, it's about sympathising with people, but we want people to keep themselves safe for them and their families.
On behalf of Commissioner Matt Collins, we want to take this opportunity to thank Inspector Jackie Tom and her team, and also Safe Haven for this great initiative. As Pam rightfully said, the word empathy stood out. It goes beyond $1 million. And as a law enforcement organization, we are more than just enforcing. We are also part of a team that empathizes with people who are in need. Actually, one thing that stood out for me this morning is this happened right on the heels of us as an organization, where we have placed community policing at the forefront of the organization. And community policing can go way beyond. There's a lot of work still to be done in our strategy going forward. We commend Ms. Tom highly and her team. They go over and beyond. So Ms. Walters and our lovely son, Mr. Walters, we are grateful to be a part of this initiative, and we look forward for greater initiative going forward, doing more for the community, as community policing is our passion.
This presentation of a $5,000 check took place on February 28, 2023 at the Safe Haven Transitional Center, Tortola, when officers made this plug.
Okay, so in regards to the bikers, one, it's important to wear helmets. That's part of our law. The helmet will protect your head from injuries. Further to that, you have to adhere to the rules of the road. You have to be very cautious when you're riding the bikes, and also respect for other motorists. It's one thing for you to be able to maneuver better for traffic, but you have to consider the vehicle next to you, the vehicle in front of you, and all of these things. You also have to protect your own self. One of the things that's always said, you have to drive for you and the other person. Same thing goes for the motorcyclist. Of course, ensure that you respect the rules of the road. If it is that you see a danger, don't just put yourself in it. Of course, try to avoid it. And most importantly, get your bike's license, get your bikes insured, get your driver's license. All of these things will help you in case, God God forbid there's an accident, you will be on the right way, you will be on the right path, and it will be better for you to get any assistance for insurance or anything. But in the meantime, you have to adhere to the laws. Okay, always try your best to adhere to the laws. And if it is that you as a parent especially, if you know your child or a young person drives without a license, drive without the motorcycle being insured, speak to them. You have to take authority, whether it is to confiscate that key, whether it is you could even report it. If you report it, we can handle it in such a way that you as a parent come to us for help. And of course, we would anyway, as committee officers, that we can help to give you that information as to how you can insure the bikes and license it, then we'll go ahead and assist. And speaking of which, we actually went to Elmore Stout High School as well, where we gave out the helmets, and we had donors like De Castro, Markin, Mr. and Mrs. Stevens, Full Throttle Bike Shop. So all of these persons in our community are concerned. They want to see good in our community. They really do enjoy it. One particular lady I will not forget always tell me about the bike noise. And when we were doing this fundraising, she gave a lot. And I asked her why. She says not that she don't like the bikes. She wants young persons to understand to adhere to the laws. She's an elder lady. The noise of the bike affects her. So while it is that you're riding through the community, consider your neighbor, consider the elders. A bike is a vehicle, but do it the right way. Do not put this loud noise. Adhere to the laws of the Virgin Islands so that we could all live peacefully within the territory, of course.
Young Walters has expressed his gratitude to everyone that has shown him compassion. Residents across the territory, especially Tortola, Jos Van Dyke, and Anegada, were amused at a bright object in the skies on the night of February 27, 2023. One woman on Tortola explains what she saw. Marsha, explain to me the sighting you saw earlier tonight.
All right, Kathy, I wouldn't say that it was a sighting. I don't know exactly what it was. At first, when I was looking out my window, I thought it was a helicopter. And so but I think in myself, I said that's a lot of light for a helicopter. And then as we continue to look, then we realize, well, okay, there's something that looks like it's just kind of hovering. And then after a few seconds, it wasn't very long, after a few seconds, it flew higher and left all the light behind. Not sure what it was. I'm not a conspiracy theorist or anything like that. But I just know what I was looking at. So that's what I saw. I don't know what it was.
About what time?
The first image that I took was at 7:22 p.m. And it was a few seconds after I had first seen it. So about 7:22 p.m. tonight.
Okay, and where exactly are you located?
Well, I'm in Carrot Bay and I'm facing Jos Van Dyke, but it looks like it was kind of behind Jos Van Dyke. I can't say for sure where it was because, like I said, I'm far away, so I can't tell exactly where it is.
Okay, so it was just one object you saw, or there were several?
Just one that I could see.
Oh.
Yeah, but I don't know for sure what it was, so I'm not saying it was anything. I don't know what it was, but I did see an image. And I did see an object, and then I did see the object ascend, leaving all that light behind.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing this with us.
You're welcome.
What was seen is believed to have been the 330-foot Falcon 9 rocket that carried a batch of SpaceX's brand new next-generation Starlink V mini satellite to orbit. It took off around 6:15 p.m. from Launch Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Center in Florida, USA. This is according to information from Florida Today News. Some persons on neighboring St. Thomas, the U.S. Virgin Islands, also saw the spectacle. There are more launches scheduled for this week, and according to someone we spoke with, we should keep our eyes on the sky. Who knows what we will see next? The man who was shot and left for dead on Sunday, February 12, 2023, is now identified as Jahphix Christopher, a 23-year-old native of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and according to the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force, he was a visitor to the territory when he met his death. On Friday, February 24, JTV News got word of the 23-year-old's identity and the circumstances that led to his family identifying his body. Asani Fred of Greenland Tortola is currently on remand charged for Christopher's murder, wounding a female during the shooting incident, and being in possession of a firearm with intent to endanger life. However, during his first court appearance on February 15, it was revealed that Fred was not the shooter. The shooter fled the scene. When police arrived on the scene that ill-fated morning, Christopher was found dead. He was at the time wearing a mask and had 2 loaded guns in his possession. The court had heard that Fred and the mystery shooter were in a car when they came under attack by 3 men on scooters. The court heard that Fred and the mystery shooter were in a car when they came under attack by 3 men on scooters. The individual who was in the passenger seat of the car with Fred opened fire at their attackers. 2 escaped, and the third person, Christopher, was killed. The shooter remains at large. The Royal Virgin Islands Police Force says they are aware that other persons were involved in the murder and are therefore seeking information that could help with identifying the other assailants. Persons can contact a Crime Stopper tip line number anonymously at 800-8477. Alternatively, persons can call 368-9345. The BVI Football Federation has said publicly they will be pumping more monies to advance the sport of football for women.
I just want you to know that we are paying special attention to women and ladies football because FIFA have gave each association 15% of the budget yearly. So we're going to be paying special attention and involve more finance in the women football. So it doesn't matter your age, your color, we are interested in you to play football.
The second vice president of the BVI FA, Aubrey Liebert, better known as Reiki, made this announcement at the Tortola leg of the Women's Football Festival. Organizers, participants, and patrons of the day's event dodged the rain of Saturday, February 24, making it a success. The slogan on the t-shirts of the participants did not escape the eyes of a Minister for Education, Sports and Youth Affairs, Honorable Cherie B. de Castro.
Truly, when I look at the young women and I see the pink, it's just representative of women. And the reality, you look on their shorts and it says, break the bias. And trust me, I know, and a lot of us standing here today, especially you who are in the sport, know what it is to come into an arena where people have expectations on a level that is specific to a gender, but you come in and you break that bias and you break those glass ceilings, and you've given the opportunity now for these young women to come behind you and to see what you do and want to become just like you. So from Coach Cass to yourself to everybody standing here this morning, I want to truly commend you for taking the lead and truly allowing these young women that stand behind me to see that it's possible just because you have taken the chance to do it. And I want to say to the young girls standing here, I see that you have on the back of your shorts hashtag girls play football. That's what I'm talking about. I'm excited to see all of you here today, and I believe most importantly, this is only the beginning. When I see what the Football Association has done just in general with football in the territory, the impact that you have on schools with your school league, and it's been going for almost a decade, it says that you are very much dedicated to these Virgin Islands, and I look forward to seeing more sports be able to come into our schools and have an impact the way that you have. So continue to do what you're doing.
On the other hand, the Minister for Health and Social Development, Honorable Marlon A. Penn, recognized the organizers for highlighting a place for women in sports.
I've been one of the champions for football in this territory, in this community. I think you're standing here on evidence of my work and the work of all of us with the BVI Football Association to bring a home for football in this territory. We are working consistently to have the rest of the facility completed, but I think it's important that this facility serves not just as a home for football, but a home to nurture and grow young people, particularly our young women in sports. We always have these challenges in terms of a place for women in sports, and I'm happy to see that the Women's Association made it fit to put this particular festival in place to show young women that there's a place for them in football and a place for them in sports in general, and help them to show their expertise and show how they could too play sports just like the men who play sports and particularly play football. So I'm here as a champion for football, a champion for women in sports, and I support you in all your efforts and your endeavors. I look forward to an exciting festival. I'd like to hear the mental health aspect of it. I believe mental health is important in anything that you do. As a Minister of Health, we now, and this evening, are putting on a mental health expo to raise funds towards persons who are interested in training towards mental health. I know during the last 5 to 6 years, we've gone through some significant challenges with our mental health, with the storms, COVID-19, and all those issues have brought stress and depression among many persons in our community, particularly our young people. We had a forum just the other day where young people expressed their mental health challenges that they're experiencing. So I'm happy that you identify that and you will help them to get through this process as well as they themselves struggle with mental challenges.
It was Chairman of the Women's Committee, Ms. Lil Makeda Foy, who alluded to the mental and health components of the Women in Football Festival.
Today, as was done in VG about 2 weeks ago, we are not only going to focus on football, but also the mental and health aspects of it. They should never be excluded or taken for granted. As the word festival implies, we are here to have a very festive time while learning and growing. Rest assured that the Women's Committee is determined to ensuring the redevelopment and advancement of women's football.
The idea of a women's football festival was that of Miss Gloria Foy, and thanks to Dean the Sportsman Greenaway, it became a reality. The first was held on Virgin Gorda and the final one on Tortola. That has brought us to the end of this edition of Front Row. Remember, you can follow us as well on Facebook at JTV Channel 55 and on YouTube at Jahphix Television JTV. Thank you so much for joining us for this edition of Front Row. I'm Kathy Richards.
We know that where you choose to bank matters, and it is your vote on what your funds do in strengthening our community. As your official Bank of Paradise, we invest and support the lifeblood of our economy by helping in the realization of personal goals for homeownership, education, and entrepreneurial visions, which support small businesses. We make it our place to connect with persons and worthy causes, and we have been doing so for more than 30 years. Where your money goes and what your dollars empower are your choice. And we thank you for choosing us, a bank that gives where it matters the most, for you, for our community, and a happier tomorrow. The National Bank of the Virgin Islands.
Everyone looks to the future, but no one truly knows what the future holds.
The number of people under the age of 20 with type 2 diabetes could increase by 49% by 2050. Let it be known that we all have a 30% chance of developing hypertension.
Globally, more than 300 million people of all ages suffer from depression.
More than 60,000 young adults aged 20 to 39 are diagnosed with cancer each year. Obesity leads to problems such as stroke, heart disease, and kidney failure.
No matter your race, age, or color, we are all at risk.
These diseases can be managed or prevented if caught early.
But with the right medicine and the right doctors to keep us on a path to live a robust and healthy life,
we will live well.
There are many ways to enjoy life, like so many ways to count on Popular.
Plug into Digicel Plus and get even more entertainment with Disney Plus included. The best of Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, and National Geographic all in one place. Whenever you want, plug into Plus to enjoy Disney Plus and much more with a home fiber bundle. Sign up today. Digicel Plus.